there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path. In today's brand new video, I'm going to teach you how to make a fuzzy bead. Now, I first learned about these fuzzy beads from my friend Heather at Beach Beads in Surfside, South Carolina. So the deal was, when I first met Heather, she was making these fuzzy beads to accent her lampwork glass beads. And they were so fun. And I'll show you one of my pieces that I had bought from her years ago that uses a fuzzy bead to accent a bigger one of her beads. But anyways, Heather sent me some brand new lampwork glass beads the other day, and I was like, oh my Lord, can I show people how to make the fuzzy beads? And she was like, sure, yes, please do that. So in today's video, we're gonna learn how to make those fuzzy beads. I'm gonna use a size 12 beading needle, and I'm gonna use my Dura thread. You can use Fireline, you can use 1G, kind of whatever you might like to use. But to make one bead, you're gonna need about a yard of thread. You're going to need, like I said, 2 colors of a size 11 seed beads. I do not recommend delicate beads. They need to be regular 11s like my Yuki's or Toho seed beads. So let's go ahead and get our stuff together and we'll get started, and be sure to stick around for the end of the video where Heather will be with me to tell you where you can get these glass beads and how much they are. Alright, so here is the bead that I want to show you how to make today. You can see it is a fringy fuzzy bead. This was one of the cross beads that I bought from Heather many years ago. And you can see how she used the fuzzy bead to really accent the piece. So that is that fuzzy bead. I have some more samples here of like this one that I'm going to end up, I think I'm going to make it into a necklace because it's honestly just too heavy for a bracelet. But you can see here all my little green beads here, my green and pink ones. Are fuzzy beads that go with these funky little spiked beads. Now, these are the beads that Heather sent me, and you can already see I've already been playing with my fuzzy beads. And I've got them threaded on because I wanted something just fun and different to accent Heather's beautiful lampwork glass beads. So this is what I'm going to be showing you how to make today. So this color here is, oh, sorry guys, this color here is going to be my main color. This one is called Gilded Marble Turquoise, and then my other color I'm using here is called Opaque Light Beige. So it's good if they can be really different colors so that they're easier to see. The first thing that you want to do is we're going to thread on 10 of our main color bead. Okay, so we have 10 of our beads here, and I'm going to bring these down, and I'm going to tie these into a circle. I do not recommend that you go through them again because you are going to go through these beads so many times, it's not even going to be funny. And I recommend when you tie it, you don't tie this super tightly, that you leave just a little bit of room in your ring of beads here. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so you can see that the ring is a very loose ring. You do not want it tight. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a bead right next to the knot. Now, this is where I lay my beads out here on my tray. Each little, I guess I should say accent, or each bead is going to have 4 embellishments over the top of it. And each embellishment starts out with 3 of your main color bead. Okay, so I go ahead and I lay my sets of 4 out. So that way I'll know when I'm finished with my bead. Okay, so have my ring of beads here. I pick up 3, main, 1 accent, and 1 main. And I'm going to let these beads drop all the way down. You want to skip the last main color that you put on, and you're going to go back down through the accent and your 3 main colors. Now before I go ahead and do anything else, I'm going to go back through the bead that my thread is coming out of so that it makes a circle. So right now my thread is coming up out of the bead, so I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to come right back up through the same bead again to make the circle. And I'm going to pull that tight, and now the bead has 1 embellishment over the top. Now I'm going to pick up my next set of 3 here. Pick up 3 main, 1 accent, and 1 main. I'm going to let these beads drop all the way down. Skip the last main color and go through the accent, the 3 main, and then through your base bead again, the same bead. And pull that thread. Okay, do it again. 3 main, 1 accent, 1 main, drop it down, skip the last main, go through the accent, the 3 main, and then again back through the same bead your thread is coming out of. And we've got to do one more. We've got one more set left. So 3 main, 1 accent, and 1 main. Okay, I'm going to let these beads drop. And again, I'm going to skip the accent or the main. I'm going to go down through the accent and the 3 main. Now this time, I'm going to go through the bead I was coming out of. And this takes a little working here on this first one because it's kind of loose. Okay, so I'm going to go through the one that I was originally coming out of and the very next bead. Now right now this looks like a hot mess and it's all loosey-goosey, but I promise you by the time you get around your ring it will not be loose anymore and you'll have a very packed bead. Okay, so there's my first little set of fringe for my fuzzy bead. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay out sets of 3, 4 sets of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 1 more set. 4. Okay, so I've got my 4 sets. Now back to my bead. So I do my first set of 3, my accent and my main here. Okay, come in. There we go. Okay, so I've got all those. I'm going to let these drop down. I'm going to try to get up here a little bit closer so you can see. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to skip my main. I'm going to come through the accent and the 3 main, and this time I only go through the second bead, which is the bead I'm coming out of. So, and this is why I said don't make these really tight or you're going to have a hard time getting through them. So I'm coming back through just that second bead and pull the thread through. So now I have my first embellishment here over that 1 bead. Okay, now again, 3, 1, and 1. Let these beads drop down. Skip your main. Go back down through your accent, your 3 main, and then again, just through the second bead. The one that you're coming out of. So that's 2 fringes there. Okay, so 3 1 and 1. Let these drop down. Skip the main, go through the accent, the 3 main, and then go through just, again, remember just the second bead here on our circle. And at this point, you kind of have to watch your threads so that they don't get caught on any of your other fringe that you've got going. Okay, and then we're going to do this one more time. 3 1 and 1. Let this drop down. Skip the main, go through the accent, the 3 main, and then this time we're going to go through the second and the 3rd bead because that was my last fringe. So I'm finishing the fringe and getting into position for the next bead on my circle. So now you can see I've got lots of little fringes started there off of just 2 beads. So I'm going to continue to add my fringes so I can show you what the finished fuzzy bead will look like just by itself. Okay, so once you get your fuzzy bead finished, this is what it will look like. And it's completely okay if you get 3, fringes on one spot and, maybe 4 on another. It's completely fine. But what I've done is I've taken my 2 threads and they're coming out side by side, so I'm going to tie those together in where they're at. And I'm going to put a couple of knots here. So that it is essentially finished. But now, before I do it, cut any threads, I'm going to go ahead and stitch these 2 tails through a little bit and get rid of these 2 tail threads. Alright, so what I've done is I have threaded on a crimp bead, an 8mm bead, and a crimp bead onto my beading wire with my fuzzy beads and my lampwork beads. So I'm going to take and use some micro suede, and basically what I want to do is I want to loop my micro suede onto my beading wire, and I'm going to take my needle, or my thread, and I'm going to go down through the bead, the crimp bead, the 8mm bead, and the crimp bead. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through this first bead here on the end. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this thread, or this cord here, down to where it will make a little loop here to where this can be attached and that I can get a crimp cover over the crimp bead. Now, I want it to be a little loose. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try, and to me this is the hardest part, I'm going to grab a hold of my little crimp bead here to the back, and I'm going to crimp that one. Okay, so then that way it'll give this room to move. These little crimp beads, this like antique copper color, I do not trust these little beads whatsoever. So anytime I have to crimp them, I always try to put at least 2 on there, just because, like I said, I don't trust these little flimsy things. Okay, now I'm going to put my crimp cover and press my crimp cover to where it closes over that. And now I can trim the beading wire. And I've got both of my sides done already, just like that. And this is the size that I want. So I'm going to make sure that my cord is the same length here that I want, that it's even. And I'm going to use a fiber end. A fiber end looks just like this. And you lay your cording into the fiber end. And then you take a pair of bent nose or flat nose pliers, whatever you want to use. And you press down one side, just like that. And then you press down the other side. I find these bent nose pliers are really, really nice to use for this specific thing. Now I'm also going to use a jump ring, and I'm going to twist open the jump ring, attach it to the ring there on the fiber end, and then I'm going to attach it to the ring here on my lobster claw. Come on, there we go. And then I will close the jump ring. Now, I'm going to repeat these same steps on the other side of my necklace. So, once you get done with your sides, then you can see that that your piece is now finished and good to go. And the fuzzy beads are a lot of fun. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning to make the fuzzy beads that will go in between Heather's beautiful new lampwork beads. So Heather, tell us where they can find the beads and how much they are.
You can find the beads on my Facebook. I have a lampwork catalog where you can see all my samples of the sets that I make, or you can request custom colors to match your fuzzy beads. The sets usually run anywhere from $44 to $49, but they are going to be on sale for $39 until December 31st, 2019.
Fantastic. All right. And Heather, what is your Facebook page?
Facebook page is scbeachbeads.com.
Okay, and SC, like in South Carolina, okay, SC Beach Beads is the Facebook name of the Facebook page and her website. Now, also, just FYI, Heather is going to start her own YouTube channel very soon. Heather, tell us where they can find your YouTube channel to go ahead and subscribe and be ready for your first video.
It is going to be youtube.com/illuminations, and that's ALUMINATIONS.
So go to Heather's new YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you'll be alerted when she puts out the first video. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye.